So I'm going to tell briefly about one convention and then more extensively about another. The Brief Convention was a comic book convention in Philadelphia. Was my first time on the East Coast. My first but not last time in Philadelphia, in fact. And again, much as those first 6-month conventions were going, we had already had booth space booked. But because we were still considered an itty-bitty deal in the game industry, we were in the small press area. In fact, my memory, I don't remember all of the booths next to us, but I do remember we were directly across from us was a small booth of a company that had made an ash can comic that was basically reimagining Spider-Man as a Jamaican. And they called it Spider-Man. And if it sounds like they were being racially insensitive, they probably were, considering it was a bunch of pasty individuals making this comic. But so they were there, and then there was somebody selling videos, so they had videos playing the whole time. And then there was somebody else promoting a superhero comic where the superheroine was based directly on a Playboy Playmate, and she was there to shill the comic. And then there was us. Now, what was interesting at this, well, two things. First off, it was the first convention where I ever saw the role-playing game Deadlands. Which, if you don't know Deadlands, actually it's one of the best horror settings I think that's out there in role-playing. It's a lot of fun. I've enjoyed playing it over the years. But one of the things that was happening is Magic had been out for a couple of months by this time. It had started gaining attention in the game industry. Now, this was a comic book convention, so gaming was a sideline. So, of course, we're in the small press. And one of the people at this convention was our art director, Jesper Myrfors. And we were planning, I say we, there was plans for more Magic cards, obviously, and there was a need to find more artists. And so that was Jesper's big goal, was to meet artists and to start scouting for new talent for future Magic cards. Peter Atkinson, head of WotC, was there because he was taking several business meetings. So, and in this convention, by this time, there were enough people playing Magic that we decided we didn't need to do what we had done at other conventions, which was going forth and shilling Magic. Plus, we'd brought in very limited stock because basically we couldn't just sell everything through the conventions, although maybe we could. I don't know. But the reason this was significant was there was an artist who approached the booth while I was the person there running it. A British gentleman who was looking for more art gigs, who showed a comic book he had done the art for, with a cover by the legendary Michael Bolton. This man, his name was Pete Venters. I think I got it was Bolton was the artist's last. I want to say that, yes, Bolton. Yeah, I probably got it wrong. I probably said the singer's name. Bolton. There was a comic artist named Bolton who was well known. He did the art. Is it Dave Bolton? Anyway, point is, this artist, Pete Venters, was at the convention. This was the first time he and I met. Now, if any of you have been paying attention for a while, you understand why this man's significant, but I'm not going to get as deep into it until I move on to my next story. So very quickly, to wrap up the Philadelphia convention, I did put him in touch with Jesper. things moved apace. The rest of that convention, well, the only other thing that's significant about that convention was the way they had arranged our flights. Half the crew left the day of the convention. The rest of us had an extra day in Philadelphia. So we went sightseeing. It was Philadelphia! I went to Liberty Hall! Wanted to see where the Declaration of Independence was signed and the Liberty Bell. I was shocked how small Liberty Hall actually was. I was like, everything you ever see, if you've seen 1776 or anything else, it feels like it's massive. It's not as massive as I thought it was going to be. But still, Liberty Hall, Liberty Bell. The person I was with was, remember I told you last time about Iron Man magic? The person I was with was the guy who came up with Iron Man magic. So we're there, and we're seeing the Liberty Bell, and the tour guide asks if there are any questions. My compatriot raises his hand and asks how many slaves died during its construction. Because apparently to him, that's how you measure the worth of a monument, how many slaves died in its construction. Yes, he was that guy. And he insisted we go to the Muter Museum of Medical Oddities. Now, let's be honest, I'm a mad scientist. That was quite fascinating. The Muter Museum of Medical Oddities. I'd never seen a 73-pound human colon before.